Good morning. Thank you for joining us on this Wednesday. Keith Tebow from FRC Media. It is Wednesday, and that's the time we normally spend a few moments with the mayor of Fall River. Mayor Paul Coogan joins us again this week. Mayor, how are you today?
Doing great, Keith. Morning.
Yeah, everything's going well. The weather's supposed to be a beautiful week. 80s at the end of this week for
Oh, I
April. I
know.
guess we can't complain about that. That's for sure.
No, for
I
sure.
actually want to start with you were part of a joint meeting last night with the school committee and the city council. This is required by the city charter to have this meeting around budget time. And your administration gave some, preliminary look at the fiscal year 2024 budget. Let me just ask you, how's that process going? And I know there's a lot of challenges that we may not have seen a year ago this year.
Yeah, there's always challenges with the budget. As school funding increases, it puts a strain on the city budget. I mean, we're not refusing the school money. We need it to make sure that kids are getting everything they need. But at the same time, we have to be really prudent about how we spend money on the city side. We've incurred some costs in our renegotiations with our unions that we are happy to incur because we want to make sure we keep people working in Fall River. But at the same time, you just got to be careful. We're downstairs right now. I was there yesterday. They were working on trash again, but department by department, Bridget and the crew go through the line after line of every budget, and we've been having those meetings regularly now. And again, we haven't finalized the budget yet, but we're getting much closer. As far as the school goes, we've had our meetings with all of our principals from the elementary schools, all of our department heads. The schools are obviously in a much better spot right now financially because of the Student Opportunity Act. So, it's not like the old days when we were sending out 100 pink slips every May or June to tell people they potentially wouldn't have a job when they come back in the fall. We're still looking for people. We have unfilled positions, and the schools are in a good spot financially, and the city is in a spot where we're just trying to be careful, but at the same time we're doing fine.
Yeah. I know I've asked you this many times about the ARPA funds that the city has received from the federal government. The last of those funds has to be spent. You still have another year to spend all of those funds. And I know that's a big part of the budget as well, trying to find some opportunities with the ARPA funds, which are one-time funds, to pay for some of the capital expenses that would have potentially come out of the city budgets. That's something that's also going to continue next year.
Yes, absolutely. And when they changed the regulations allowing us to use the funds like community development money, we're going to put another $4 million right now into streets and sidewalks with our Chapter 90 money that we've already received, which is probably close to a couple million. So people are going to see a lot of work going on in the city this year. I'm taking a ride right after this to go take a look at Ridge Street to see how that's coming. I heard they already started work down there. But at the same time, infrastructure, cleanliness, these are things we can spend ARPA money on that hopefully, is one-time expenses that we can make sure, people have a better experience when they're driving around Fall River or the sidewalks aren't out of level by 3 or 4 inches. So the things we can fix, we're going to fix going forward, and we'll spend the money and the time allotted, and the Fall River will be a better place for it. We were just talking a little while ago down in Elena's office about the street sweeping program and getting some streets cleaned with our new street sweepers and with our graffiti removal machine. I think people are going to notice a different look to Fall River. And that's something I'm working hard on because I think that's important.
Yeah. One final budget question. Compared to a year ago, the price of everything, we all see it, right? Inflation has been extremely high. I know that was an issue with the water department and the need, unfortunately, to raise water and sewer rates higher than probably was anticipated. Are you seeing that same thing on the city side that may impact, spending in terms of having to pay for more just goods and services than you did a year ago?
Oh, absolutely. We're seeing it across the board on everything. And inflation affects wages, it affects projects, it affects everything you do. Look no further than the new Diamond. We're down there now trying to get a handle on what we can have in that building and what we can't because of the increased cost. And a large amount of that is attributed to inflation. So, and that's on the school side too. We have the pressures of inflation are pushing everything higher, utilities, food, gas, everything. So we're going to have to ride this out. We hope the federal government gets a handle on it shortly, and we get a little relief from it. But we're gonna do our best to make sure it doesn't impact us too much.
As we talked about the great weather coming up, let's hope we have great weather next weekend, a weekend from now, when the city will be celebrating Earth Day with a couple of cleanups, one on Friday and one on Saturday. And again, a great opportunity for people to get involved in cleaning up, whether they're part of the city's effort or their own neighborhood. It's always a good time to get started for the cleanup, and it's always revolves around Earth Day.
Right. The 21st and the 22nd, we'll have our cleanup crews going out both days, from City Hall Plaza at 1 o'clock on the 21st and at Kennedy Park Pavilion at 11 o'clock on the 22nd. And if people want to just clean their neighborhood or clean a box of streets around their house that are bad, take a rake, take a snow shovel, throw it in a bag. We'll pick it up. Just give us notice, and we'll get out there and help you. But at the same time, it's important that people invest in their community. We're not asking them to give us 3 8-hour days, a couple hours here, maybe a couple hours later in the summer or early fall will make a difference in the city. And I think people that take pride in the city are going to notice that we're going to support them 100%, and hopefully it makes a dent. I think people do. Like I said, I do think people appreciate a clean city, and I think every little bit helps. And these cleanups, we're asking for people to pitch in, and we'll see what we get.
Yeah. And that'll be again next weekend, next Friday, the 21st and 22nd
Yep.
of April. And of course, next week is school vacation week. So hopefully the kids will have a nice week off and be able to enjoy themselves and enjoy. Hopefully, will be great weather here in Fall River for April. All right, Mayor Coogan, as always, thank you for your time. We'll talk again next week. Take care.
Yep. Thanks, Keith.
All right. And as always, thank you for joining us here on FRC Media. Have a great rest of your week.